We are now joined by our race-winning driver and crew chief, Trevor Bayne and Mike Kelly. This is Ford's 200th Nationwide Series victory. Mark Martin won the first race in 1987 at Dover. I don't really know where to start. That was an exciting finish there. Let's start with you, Trevor. I know you won your first Nationwide Series victory a couple years ago at Texas Motor Speedway, but I think this one probably ranks pretty high on that list. Talk a little bit about those final laps.
This does. I mean, we're back. I get to drive a championship contending car with a team that doesn't give up. We've been through some trials this season, but the Lord's just made us stronger, and now we've come back and fought hard these last 3 weeks, and now we get a win. I didn't know that it would come this soon, but I knew coming to Iowa we'd have a good shot at it. Mike over here skipped out on my wedding so he could build this race-winning car, so I'll let it slide this time. But, I'm just so excited to be a part of this team with these guys and what they've done for me and my confidence and just standing behind me. No matter what happens every weekend, I can walk in the shop and know that I have a team that's behind me. And Mike's such a good leader with these guys. He doesn't let them get down. So we've been able to fight hard. This race today was a great example of that. We weren't great on the short run, but the long run, man, we could really go after him. So I knew that we had to keep that lead to a minimum while he was fast on those restarts. That way we could catch him at the end of the run. Lap traffic worked out perfect, and our Ford EcoBoost Mustang was just so quick after about 30 laps, so we were able to catch him and battle really hard, a little bit harder than I wanted to. I think we got a little bit of a tire rub there at the end, but we were able to pull it off and get the win, and just couldn't be more excited for these guys and for Ford for their 200th win, and for Iowa Speedway to get this race in. The rain definitely was not what we wanted to see, but it paid off staying around this time.
All right. And Mike Kelly, with your 3 previous victories with Ricky Stenhouse and now your victory with Trevor Bayne, your team has led a whopping over 300 laps here at Iowa Speedway. So talk a little bit about coming in this weekend with knowing you had Trevor, and then how the race played out today.
Actually, when we unloaded, we weren't that good, and Trevor did a really good job of telling us where we were wrong and what we needed to work on our car, and probably that's probably what hurt us the most in the fall race here last year. The tire changed. And when we got here with Ricky, we had won the previous 3 races and really dominated this race last year. So we were a little hesitant to change what we had. And when we got here with Trevor, we needed to change what we had. And in the middle of practice, we were probably one of the worst cars on the racetrack, and nobody gave up. We wholesale changed that thing, and there was actually some teams around us that were surprised there was anything left on the race car halfway through practice. But we did a really good job. Trevor stayed focused. I got a really new engineer this year, Casey. He stayed focused on helping us get these simulation changes. And by the end of practice, we had a car that it wasn't the fastest car here. I mean, the 3 was incredibly fast in practice and incredibly fast on an early part of a run. But Trevor told us he had a car that he thought he could sit on the pole with and he thought he could win the race with. And the last couple of weeks, we've changed a lot of the ways we're doing things on the 6 car, and Trevor stepped up to be a leader for our team. And when he tells us what the car is doing, we make changes to what Trevor says, not what Ricky was doing with our car last year. And one of the big things that kind of helped us, well, it was about 4 weeks ago, we sat down and looked at some simulation. The first time on track all year long that I could compare anything with Ricky and Trevor was a Texas Cup race. And I could go home and take their Cup data and run it through simulation and find the differences of what Ricky and Trevor had in a same car on the same track on the same day. And I started applying that to our nationwide setups from Ricky before. And I don't want to say like a light switch, but it started answering a lot of the questions. And Trevor's feedback's been spot on. And the last 3 weeks, we haven't won till today. But at Charlotte, they knew we were there. And Dover last week, which has been, I don't care who's drove the 6 car over the last 5 or 6 years. Dover's been a real pain on our side, and that was probably our best run in 5 or 6 years at Dover. So we still got a long way to go. I don't know about the points. We quit looking at points a few weeks ago, and we know our trailer's getting closer to the front where it's used to being parked. So that's our goal right now, just keep this thing going in the right direction.
And Mike, you both of you have referenced the rain delay earlier today. Obviously, the race was postponed to this morning. How do you, as a crew chief, keep your team focused and in that race mode when you have to kind of take that break in the middle of a race?
A lot of you don't know, but this year, the 6 car, we have been through more adversity off and away from the racetrack. My car chief this year, that I got thoughts and prayers out to Brett Reagan. He's going through something. His dad's been ill all year. Our car chief hasn't been in the shop all year. He's come to as many races as he can, and I'm borrowing people to replace him as I can. I had an engineer for 6 years, Seth Barber, who a lot of our success is attributed to things Seth Barber's done for me as a person and a friend, and he went on to be a crew chief for that third nationwide team. I got sick in Texas, and we've had some crazy races, but I think days like today are becoming more easy for us because of a lot of the things we've had to go through all year long. You know, we've had people in and out. We've had crazy things happen on the racetrack that we've never seen happen to us before, and we have to go back and rebound. We go back to the shop these last 3 or 4 weeks, and we're taking cars back that aren't wrecked, and we're learning more, and our weeks our heads are clearer. If you have a really bad weekend, like Bristol really shocked us. Trevor's been really good at Bristol, and Ricky was really good at Bristol, and we went there, and we sucked. And that takes about 2 weeks out of your season because you spend time trying to figure out why. I've always told people this. When a team is struggling, you work way harder than a team that's running smooth. And because when you're running smooth, you're not spending all the time trying to figure out what went wrong or what's wrong with the program, what's wrong with the people. And that just shows like that's kind of, I feel like where we're at now. Things are getting smoother. We're spending more time being ready for these races.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Okay, let's start with Luke, and then we'll come to Pete.
Trevor, married on Tuesday, you win on Sunday. I wonder if you could just talk about how much more special it is to get a victory in the week of your wedding.
Man, just getting a victory would be awesome, but to do it like this, such a special week for me. I was teared up at the altar on Tuesday and about teared up in Victory Lane on Sunday. So it's such a great week. And to have her here supporting me, not many women would be willing to get married on a Tuesday and come to Iowa as part of their honeymoon. So Ashton has just been such a huge support for me through the good times, through the bad times. We've been together for like 3 years now, so we've been through a lot of times. And this is the first time she's been at Victory Lane with me. So just special to have her here and then to be married, to have this ring on my finger. I can't get used to it, but man, it's such a great feeling to know that we've got a lot of years left racing and forever being married. So it's cool.
All right, we'll go to Pete up front here. Oh, here he comes.
And by the way, we're trying to talk Kelly into moving his wedding up now. So he's scheduled to get married in the off season, but we feel like maybe it should happen next week now. I'm just saying.
Pete Pistone, Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio, MotorRacingNetwork.com. Look forward to our Tuesday this week. We're going to have something to talk about, Trevor. But both of you guys, can you tell me, with the weather conditions today, how much did you have to change throughout the course of today?
I felt like our car changed very dramatically when the clouds were out or when the sun was out. I would pick up 2 tenths versus a competition as soon as the clouds would come out. So that was part of the reason we caught Austin at the end of that run. The clouds came out, we were able to run them down, and then the sun started peeping again, and it kind of worried me, but fortunately at that time we had already gotten by him. I feel like after it rained, it washed the track off. So we restarted kind of like we did at the beginning of the race after lap 150 there when we had that red flag. Washed all the rubber off. Track was really slick. Our car was free on entry all day. So I had more front brake to the car than I've ever had anywhere that I can think of just to try to crutch that. So after that caution, that red flag, I went 2 more turns of the front brake, helped it on entry, and the more the track took rubber, the better our car got. I kind of wish this would have been a night race because I feel like we would have been even stronger had we been under the lights with a cool condition, more rubber on the track. But now we learned for day races here. If we have this situation again, we know what we need. We need to start a little bit tighter, work on our entry a little bit more. But if we have a night race, I think we're going to be really stout.
Yeah, like you said, these races are won long before today. Great drivers do a great job in the race, but engineers, we sit back, we look at history of these last few races back here, and that was a thing, man. We were guessing when we were going to race. There was one point we thought, well, we'll get, I think me and Trevor talked about if we got 75 laps in last night, what would our balance be? So we left a lot of adjustability in our car, a lot of spring rubbers, a lot of things that because we didn't know when we would race. And then, like you said, then it changed. When the clouds would come out, our car would react one way. When the sun would come out, it would react another way. Then we had long run, and then we had the rain, and we sat there in between the rain delay, and we talked about it. We said, basically you're going to be starting right back over where you were this morning, green racetrack. See what you got. We knew the key was to try and hold Austin's lead as short as keep that to as short as we could. We'd seen all day long he would he would fire off, and we'd run him down we could run 3 seconds back down. If it went from that restart to the end, we couldn't let that lead get over 3 seconds, and it got to 2.6 at one time, and I was getting a little nervous, and then like a light switch, it slowly starts coming back to us. If it had been 2 short runs, we wouldn't have had anything for the 3. Those guys had a very fast, tremendously fast race car on a short run.
You know, and we talked about that after practice, too, for that 3 car. There's a lot of times you see speed like that. The 54 at Richmond, for example, was dominant in practice, and it's very seldom you see that transfer over to the race. So we weren't really sure how he would stack up, but he held that speed from practice, and he was able to get those short runs, drove right by us. He had 4 tires at the end there versus our 2 tires, which was a little bit of advantage on a short run, but no matter what, like Kelly said, we just had to keep him in sight. There were times when he would start to get around the pit road wall where I couldn't see him, and in the next lap I could see him again, and it gave me a little bit of hope knowing that we could catch him by the end.
All right. We'll continue with questions for Trevor or Mike. Additional questions? Okay, let's go to Brad.
Thanks, man. When did you know you were going to catch Austin? You know, I think about 5 laps before I actually got inside of him to make the pass, we had run him down, and Mike was giving me lap times, and it was like 3/10 a lap, and we were within a second. So I knew it wouldn't be long before he caught him. The lap traffic played to our favor perfectly. Those guys give me a ton of respect on the track, and every time I got inside of them, they were letting me go. So that helped me a ton. Austin kind of got trapped there for a little bit, and we gained more than we probably would have. So I caught him, a couple laps sooner than I thought. But once I got to him, you could really see that he was frustrated. When you lead a race like that and you dominate all day, and then 10 laps to go, you see somebody catching you, man, it's heartbreaking. And you drive that thing so hard trying to get the most out of it. Going into turn 1, it looked like he got loose, slid up the track, got in a little bit too hard. Got to his inside. We went down the back stretch kind of side by side, rubbed some doors and fenders there a couple times, and I didn't know what was going to happen, so I just kind of stayed beside him for a couple laps, let him cool off if he was frustrated. I didn't want to take a chance on anything, and then there was a time when I could clear him, and I was able to drive away enough to where I knew he couldn't get back to our bumper and try to cross us over, and that's when I made the pass. I know this sounds crazy, but we were at Miller Motorsports Park. Ford sent us out there for road racing a couple weeks ago, and Billy Johnson, who's another driver and works at Roush Fenway, talked to us about slowing down your center of the corner where nobody could cross you over, stand beside them until you knew you could drive away. And I never thought I'd use that technique at a short track, but it helped today, just keeping him on my outside until I knew I could pass him.
All right, we'll continue with questions for Trevor or Mike. Any questions in the back? You guys good? All right. Well, congratulations on another
Thank you,
victory.
guys.